watching the Sports and Political channel of LB. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Let's get down to business. So I'm going to play a clip, and after the clip has been played, we're going to talk about it on the other side.
Shortly after the release of an audio recording this past Saturday morning of a conversation that allegedly included Clippers owner Donald Sterling, the NBA commenced an investigation, which, among other things, included an interview of Mr. Sterling. That investigation is now complete. The central findings of the investigation are that the man whose voice is heard on the recording and on a second recording from the same conversation that was released on Sunday is Mr. Sterling, and that the hateful opinions voiced by that man are those of Mr. Sterling. The views expressed by Mr. Sterling are deeply offensive and harmful. That they came from an NBA owner only heightens the damage and my personal outrage. Sentiments of this kind are contrary to the principles of inclusion and respect that form the foundation of our diverse, multicultural, and multi-ethnic league. I am personally distraught that the views expressed by Mr. Sterling came from within an institution that has historically taken such a leadership role in matters of race relations and caused current and former players, coaches, fans, and partners of the NBA to question their very association with the league. To them, and pioneers of the game like Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, Sweetwater Clifton, the great Bill Russell, and particularly Magic Johnson, I apologize. Accordingly, effective immediately, I am banning Mr. Sterling for life from any association with the Clippers organization or the NBA. Mr. Sterling may not attend any NBA games or practices. He may not be present at any Clippers facility, and he may not participate in any business or player personnel decisions involving the team. He will also be barred from attending NBA Board of Governors meetings or participating in any other league activity. I am also fining Mr. Sterling $2.5 million, the maximum amount allowed under the NBA Constitution. These funds will be donated to organizations dedicated to anti-discrimination and tolerance efforts that will be jointly selected by the NBA and its Players Association. As for Mr. Sterling's ownership interest in the Clippers, I will urge the Board of Governors to exercise its authority to force a sale of the team, and will do everything in my power to ensure that that happens. This has been a painful moment for all members of the NBA family. I appreciate the support and understanding of our players during this process, and I am particularly grateful for the leadership shown by Coach Doc Rivers, Union President Chris Paul, and Mayor Kevin Johnson of Sacramento, who has been acting as the players' representative in this matter. We stand together in condemning Mr. Sterling's views. They simply have no place in the NBA.
Now, what you saw there was a clip of at that time, newly minted NBA Commissioner Adam Silver banning then Clippers owner Donald Sterling, the individual you see in the thumbnail, for life regarding his comment. Now, how did we get here? How did we get down here? Well, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Back on, I say around April 26th of 2014. And I'm going to share my screen with everybody so that way everybody get to see this, right? That way you can't come on here and say that LB out here capping and LB out here just making up stuff. Because LB don't make up stuff. I don't make up stuff. Right? Let's come here. Don't bring black people to my games. This is what he said to his girlfriend at the time. The NBA was investigating a report of an audio recording. That audio recording was obtained by TMZ, in which a man purported to be the owner of the LA Clippers at the time, Donald Sterling, made racist remarks while speaking to his girlfriend. The spokesman Mike Bass said in a statement that the league is in the process of authenticating the validity of recording, which was posted on TMZ's website. Bass called the comments disturbing and offensive, and the league will have no further comment. Messages seeking comment from the Clippers would not immediately return. Now, the Clippers at that time was in the midst of a playoff series against the Golden State Warriors. The woman, V. Stiviano, who is half black and half Mexican, posted a picture of herself with then Lakers Hall of Famer Magic Johnson on Instagram, which has since been removed. The man happened to be Donald Sterling, asked that V. Stiviano not broadcast association with black people or bring black people to her games. And this when Magic Johnson came out with his outrage saying that he will never go to a Clippers game as long as Donald Sterling is the owner. He also said that the alleged comments were the black eye of the NBA and said that he felt as bad that such friends as Rivers and Clippers point guard Chris Paul had to work for Donald Sterling. Now, I find it funny that Chris Paul is at the center of both instances of racism within the teams he's played for. So this was back in 2014, where you had a woman on a recording basically saying that the man who was on that recording in Donald Sterling was making racist tropes and allegations, or was making racist remarks, telling her not to bring black people to his games. And that way, 3 days later, you saw that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver put the hammer down and basically told Donald Sterling he cannot have any association within the NBA ever again. So that was back in 2014. Let's come here. Now I want to know what changed between 2014 and now. Now, if you follow me on my YouTube channel, I've talked about this particular story when it first broke. I was like one of the only channels that talked about this. And ESPN first reported the story of allegations of racism and misogyny within the Phoenix Suns. And throughout Robert Sarver's 17 years, to where October 30th, 2016, there was a game between the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. And Draymond Green was one of the people that made allegations against the Phoenix Suns owner, saying that he said the N-word. The young Phoenix Suns have been toiling at the bottom of the NBA standings for years, missing the playoffs, churning through head coaches. Earl Watson was the coach at the time. He was the fourth coach in as many years. He went into the locker room after that loss to Golden State. And he asked the question, you know, why does Draymond Green get to run up the court and say the N-word? Sarver, who is white, allegedly, he's not allegedly white. That motherfucker is whiter than a jar of helmets. What do you mean he's allegedly white? What are you talking about? He said the N-word several times in a row. Earl Watson told him he couldn't say that. Sarver said why. Draymond Green said it. And then Earl Watson said he can't effing say that. Now, at that point, he was fired. At that point, he was fired as coach of the Phoenix Suns. Take a pause for a moment. I salute my man, Too Raw for TV. Go subscribe to this channel. My sister Kim in the building. Alex Heron. Terry Smoot. True Viking. Salute to you. Nathan. Divine Unity. Salute to all y'all in the building. Appreciate y'all for being up here. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit the like button. Share, share, share. Share, share, share. All right. What's up, you Suit Knight? Salute to you. This anecdote offers a glimpse into conduct that sources told ESPN Sarver has often exhibited since buying the Suns in 2004. More than 70 former and current Suns employees throughout his 17-year tenure described the hostile working environment under Sarver. Some told ESPN he used racially insensitive language repeatedly in the office. Some said that he used misogynistic comments, including Sarver once passing around a picture of his wife in a bikini to employees and speaking about the times his wife went down on him. Scrub Zero, what's up with your salute? So let me get this straight. He is willing to take his private life public regarding him and his wife sessions in the bedroom, along with making racist and misogynistic comments. And this was going on for years. Now, what's the difference between, well, actually, if you really think about it, this man's action was a lot worse than what Donald Sterling did. Donald Sterling said, hey, dude, I just don't want you bringing these black people to my games. This man is in the office within the organization saying the N-word repeatedly, making all kinds of misogynistic comments, and was telling people how good his wife gave him head. Some said the longtime owner fostered an environment in which the employees felt like they were his property. Even one woman asked whether he owned her to determine whether she worked for the Suns. The legal team, of course, because when you get your butt in the crack, you got to go through your legal team because he don't have enough balls to come out and deny, and which he couldn't deny because he knew good and well in his heart that it happened. So he stood up there and lied, saying he never called anybody the N-word or referred to anyone or any group of anyone by the N-word, either verbally or in writing. He said he don't use that word. It is abhorrent and denigrating and stand against everything he believes in. Oh, no. No. That's very much of what you believe in, because Earl Watson actually came on an interview one day and actually talked about this. There was one time, Blinky, you missed an interview where Earl Watson said that Robert Sarver said the N-word. Sarver did acknowledge using the word once many years ago. See, and that's what they say. Well, you know, that's like a person who's an alcoholic. They'll first lie and tell you that, oh man, I only had 2 beers. But they'll tell you, but they'll later on they'll slip up and say, oh well, Yeah, I had a shot of rum and coke last night, and then and then but that was my only drink though. That was my only drink. But they're reeking of alcohol. They had more than one shot of rum and coke. They had tequila. They had bourbon. They had all this other shit. They're out here slurring their words. They're out here trying to get the keys. They're out here trying to be aggressive towards you after you trying to prevent them from getting the keys, from getting on the road, from killing themselves. That's the kind of shit they do. So racism is in every fat fiber of Robert Sarver's being. Just like how racism and this slave mentality is in every fiber of the United States of America. And anyone that tells you otherwise is full of shit. The N-word has never been part of his vocabulary. But you said it once years ago. So if you said it once years ago, how could it never be part of your category or your vocabulary if you said it years ago? It's very much part of his vocabulary. In the case of the 2016 game against the Warriors, Sarver and his lawyers wrote that Sarver did not have the conversation with Watson but had one with a Suns player who received a technical foul for what they said using the N-word during the game. Sarver said he encouraged the player to appeal the technical foul because Green had used the word in the game. See, that's all bullshit. That's all him trying to cover this shit up. Multiple and current former employees told ESPN about the conduct by other members of the Suns leadership team that they felt contributed to a toxic and sometimes hostile working environment. Now, guess who's on that team right now, right? Because I alluded to this early in the stream. Chris Paul is currently a player on the Phoenix Suns. Because see, back then, what the Clippers did is they took their shirts and they threw it on the Golden State Warriors logo. They also took their jerseys, not jerseys, but they took their shooting shirts and turned them inside out, refusing to display the Clippers logo on it. You also had the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream was a WNBA franchise, right? The Atlanta Dream basically said, look, we're not going to play another game until Kelly Loeffler is no longer the owner or part owner of the Atlanta Dream. Now, Kelly Loeffler was a senator at the time out in the state of Georgia. She got that through Brian Kemp after one of the senators retired. So Kelly Loeffler, through her backdoor deals in oil fields and slipping Brian Kemp $2 million, she was gifted a seat in the Senate. Oh yeah, by the way, her racist white supremacist husband is the owner of the New York Stock Exchange. That's right. She's the owner, or her husband is the owner of the New York Stock Exchange. Now, how many people in your lifetime can say that? Hey man, what you do for a living? Oh man, you know, I run the New York Stock Exchange. I'm worth $800 million. So Kelly Loeffler, amid the pressure, sold the team. And then she ended up getting voted out. That's how Raphael Warnock is in that position right now, getting his ass beat by Herschel Walker. I'll talk about that in another video, but circling back to this. This detailed report, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But this detailed report and they even talk about the warning signs. So, as you can see here, coming off a 29-53 season in 04, early major decision from Sarver regarding the signing of the team's top free agent, Steve Nash, right? A recruiting pitch was set for the start of free agency among Sarver and others. The attendees included Nash, agent Bill Duffy, and Amani Stoudemire, both of whom are black. Talk about Bill Duffy and Amani Stoudemire. 3 people in the room told ESPN that during the meeting, Sarver made a comment that they felt was racially insensitive. They could not recall specifics, but they said that he felt too loosely using the term black guy during the conversation. And there's other warning signs. I'm not going to keep you on here too long with the many examples, stuff like that. But this article is on ESPN.com. Please feel free to read this at your leisure. So if we got all these instances of racial, misogynist, insensitive comments, plus a hostile working environment, and yet he only got suspended for a year and fined $10 million. Adam Silver, what the fuck are you doing? Where was the I'm banning this guy effective immediately and I'm calling on the owners to assist me into getting this man up out of here and registering the sale of the Phoenix Suns? Where was that? Where was that? Where was it? Now, there's players on that team like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder. You got James Jones as the GM, Monty Williams, the head coach. I mean, where is the outrage about this? And then they tried to say, oh, well, after the incident came out, after all the allegations came out, then he decided to, include himself in a whole bunch of diversity training. Yeah, let's just hide behind that. Let's hide behind diversity training. That don't change a person who's been a white supremacist and a racist his whole fucking life. You mean to tell me a one-time training is going to erase a lifetime full of racism and misogynistic comments that this man had in his head and in his heart? That man had that shit in his DNA. And you mean to tell me a one-time diversity training or a 1-week diversity training is going to erase all that, right? Man, miss me with that. Miss me with the dumb shit. Adam Silver completely dropped the ball. How could we have a situation to where progress is being made if we're going to regress on that progress? That's not progress. That's regressing. Progress is made through consistency over time. Period. You cannot have progress if we're going to pick and choose who we're going to go after, and we're going to pick and choose who we're going to protect. If we're in the process of weeding out racist people, and we really truly wants to be part of this diverse community, right? And that, look, I feel that the Players Association should take a stand. I feel that those players on the Phoenix Suns should also take a stand and getting this guy up out of here. We need to turn up the pressure on this individual right here, Robert Sarver. He has no business being an owner in the NBA right now. He's also an owner of the Phoenix Mercury. So I'm interested in seeing that Diana Taurasi, right? I'm interested to see all those players that's on the Phoenix Mercury showing their outrage, showing their disdain. showing their disgust that this man here continues to be an owner in the NBA. That way he can continue to be around NBA circles. That's not that stuff never been in this DNA. If you don't get up out of here, that stuff always been in your DNA. Being a racist, being a misogynist. If they really want to affect change, if they really want to keep things consistent as far as the message, as far as the rhetoric, as far as the way that they're not going to tolerate this type of activity, or the stuff that comes out their mouth, or the stuff that they do behind the scenes when the cameras are not rolling, this man should not be an owner of the NBA. Period. It's that simple. There's no other way to sit up here and justify this kind of behavior. It's not. This man used the N-word on at least 5 occasions. 5. Made many sexual related comments. The NBA said in a statement that the independent investigation, because the NBA hired an independent investigator last year.
Versus Jeep Renegade. Look what Kona has and what Renegade does.
Apologize for that. They found that he engaged in conduct that clearly violated common workplace standards, as reflected in team league rules and policies. This conduct included the use of racially insensitive language, unequal treatment of female employees, sex-related statements and conduct, harsh treatment of employees that on occasion it constituted bullying. The NBA said an investigation led by the law firm of Wacho, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz, David Anders, and Sarah Eddy included interviews with 320 people, including current and former employees of Sarver's. More than 80,000 documents and other materials were examined. Sarver and his team officials fully cooperated with the probe. Even with this findings, the NBA said the investigation made no finding that Mr. Sarver's workplace misconduct was motivated by racial or gender-based animus. What the hell that got to do with anything? So what was it motivated by then? Since the NBA said that his conduct or misconduct was not motivated by racial or gender-based animus, what was it motivated by then? What would possess somebody to say that type of shit? Unless it was in their fucking heart. That's where Adam Silver dropped the ball at. One-year ban and $10 million, that's unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And that's why I stand on that. Now, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC, Lions Den basketball community. This your man. Scream at me. All right.